Saquon, when some other teammates of yours had got big extensions, they were asked, what was the first thing you bought? Like Landon Dickerson said he bought a lawnmower. What was anything like that happen with you?
No, not yet. Probably a golf membership or something like that somewhere. But don't have nothing crazy planned.
How did this all come about, and were you surprised by it?
Yeah, I think it was just mutual. The love I have for his organization, and wanting to be here for a very long time, and the same thing that they feel for me. Obviously, it shows. So I'm just thankful for obviously the extension, but being part of his organization from top to bottom, they do it the right way. Everybody in this building. So to be able to be part of this for another 4 years, I think it is, and hopefully more. I'm super excited about that.
Did it surprise you at all when Ed let you know they wanted to extend you so early in the process?
Yeah, I mean, you never know, especially in this business. But when it came, to my attention, I definitely wasn't upset about that at all. Definitely fired up. Me and my family was definitely fired up. But more so, like I said, obviously the extension is great, and the money thing is great too. But just the people in this building and this organization, and to continue to build on what we were able to do last year it's a big goal of mine.
If you think back, you will agree on the first day of free agency last year. Here you are, first day of free agency 1 year later. I guess what perspective do you have on this past year of your life?
Yeah, I mean, not just in this past year, going back to when, I got tagged, not trying to bring the past back up, but, just reflecting on that, sitting there in AZ, not sure what I should do, and kind of making the decision to not accept the tag and bet on myself, and just shows me that every single time that I bet on myself, more times than not, it comes out in the right way. And you can't judge anybody's timing. God's timing is unbelievable. After the year with New York, I hurt my ankle and I hit free agency. Didn't know how things were going to plan out, but to be able to sign a deal here and wanted to come here and expand on my legacy and on my career, and play with a lot of ballers and get a chance to compete for a championship, and all that happening, and then having an extension and signing the best running back contract of all time. It's just funny how things work, but just continue to trust in God, continue to trust in my team and the people around me, and just continue to buy in, and just it worked. And it's always been like that for me too, whether it's in high school when I had the decision if I wanted to go from Rutgers to Penn State, whether it was Penn State and coming to the league, and even now. So it's just a lesson that I've learned that no matter what, for the rest of my life, that's going to be the mindset I always have, is continue to better myself and trusting God and trusting the people around me.
I know legacy is something you've talked about quite a bit. Does being here long-term give you the best shot to cement a really strong legacy?
100%. And that's the reason why I wanted to come here. It's cool, sign extension and having the yards and the record year or whatever happened last year. But you can't do it without everybody else. You can't do it without your teammates. And this organization knows how to continue to bring great people and have great guys in this team. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. So, yeah, the things that I envision in the future, I feel like being here is the best place for it.
How do you approach the offseason? I mean, obviously you came off a season where you had by far the most touches in your career. You guys played, into the middle of February. How do you kind of approach this offseason as far as getting ready for next year?
Listen to my body. Definitely give my body some time to recover. Like you said, this was a long season, a lot of touches. But just listen to my body, create a game plan, whether it's within myself, within my team, with the team here, Coach Jamal, figure out the game plan, and whatever the game plan is, just go and execute it. I think that's the way you do it. Same mindset I had last year. Come in with that mindset and just work and buy in, and the rest is going to take care of itself.
So have you begun working at it at this point, or are you just kind of letting your body heal up? Right?
I've been doing little stuff like light work, nothing really strenuous on the body at all. That probably more of a focus probably around April.
In less than a month since you won the Super Bowl, how has that how has that time been for you? So you got honored in Allentown. How has the whole process been?
It's been great. Like you said, going to Allentown, going back to Lehigh Valley, getting honored. The parade was cool. Winning a Super Bowl on your birthday was cool. But you kind of, you get a little bit of time, or there's moments like those 3 moments, or the ring ceremony, or when you go to White House, that it comes back to you that you're a Super Bowl champion. But you kind of lose focus on that already, because you start thinking about how you're gonna be able to do it again. And that's just the nature of our business. That's the nature of the sport. You have your time to celebrate it, but you win and you move on, and you got a whole new year. You got everything that you did last year happened last year. You got to find new ways to create that again.
You answered questions back in the fall about the running back market, and obviously there were phone calls among running backs a few years ago. What does this type of contract do for your position?
I hope it does what it's supposed to do. Every other position, the value increases each year. So, for the Bijans and the Gibbs, and I know Cook is up too. All those guys who are up and able to get paid. I hope they beat it. That's kind of how I look at it. And I'm not one of those guys. Like, I don't care for, like, oh, is this guy getting paid more than me or not? Like, that's what the sport is about, and building the position up. And like I said, all those young guys that's underneath me right now, when there's their time, hopefully they beat it and max it out even more. And in 5 and 10 years, it's the same thing for those running backs that playing in high school and college right now. So that's the goal. It's happening for every other position. I think it should happen for our position too.
Did you hear from any other running backs across the league after you signed the deal?
Yeah, a couple guys reached out. The Cook probably was the most excited one, because he got his stuff coming up. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of the game itself, and of the position that I play, and all those guys. So having those guys reach out means a lot.
You know how it goes in the league with every defensive coordinator is going to be looking at your guys' film last year, what you were able to do on the ground. What do you think you need to do to evolve, to stay ahead of defenses next season?
You just got to go back and watch the tape and come up with a game plan. I already reached out to, my coach Jamal, and seeing things that we can do to improve on. And it's the thing I think that helped me this year, outside of just being surrounded around a great team and amazing offensive line, is when I came in, my mindset was forget everything that happened in the past and try my best to just buy in. I probably can do a better job with running the ball in my left hand. That's probably the only thing that I still struggle with. But whatever the game plan is, whatever they have, the idea that they think that can help me take me to the next level, I'm just going to do that, do the same thing I did in last offseason.
Saquon, when you got here, you were immediately respected. You were immediately a leader. You impressed the front office and the locker room in the league with how you were such a steadying force in the locker room. Do you think that helped convince the Eagles that you were their guy beyond the initial deal, even after 1 year? Do you think your character meshed well?
Yeah, I would hope. I hope that's more than what the play on the football field, to be completely honest. Because at the end of the day, like, this game is only going to happen for so long. And yes, you want to be remembered for the long touchdown runs and the accolades and awards, but it's the impact that you have on others. And I believe that outside in the community when you're doing that, but also within your teammates and within this building. So I believe so, and I hope that's the case.
What does it mean to further, plant your roots here personally, make this more your home? That this contract gives you.
Yeah, I said it. I don't remember when I said it. I said it on some interview. But I'm a fan of Marshall Faulks, and able to reach out to him and talk to him. And, his legacy, when you talk about his legacy, a lot of stuff that's brought up is things that he did as a Ram and not as a Colt. So I think that this extension gives me the opportunity to do that. And I want to be, if not the greatest running back of all time, one of the greatest running backs of all time. And I hope I'm able to do that in the Eagle uniform.
What's it like coming back pretty much to a team where the offense is pretty much, the guys are pretty much all back? You're not like bringing in like a whole lot of new people like, a lot of times you were with the Giants. What is this feeling like
for you?
I think it's big. I think it's a key to, why teams, if you look throughout the years of any sports, when, you're trying to have successful seasons on top of each other, I think it's key when you have familiar guys back in the locker room, back with each other. It only helps, it only grows, and I think you've seen that throughout the year too. Just the type of team we were from the beginning of the year, from the middle of the year to the end of the year, in the playoffs. But yeah, just seeing familiar faces and being able to work with them and having a whole year under your belt is only going to help you.
I'm sure you thought for a long time about what it would be like to win a Super Bowl. Was it what you expected, different than you expected?
Yeah. I mean, depends how you look at it. Like in the moment, it's cool, but kind of like anything in life. Well, how I've seen it so far in my life. When things happen, you probably I envisioned it so many times and seen it so many times that when it happens, it's like it kind of never really live up to expectation, I guess you can say. But like I don't mean to say that to take anything away from the Super Bowl. Obviously, the Super Bowl is amazing, but yeah, it was super cool. It's more of like the moment you have like with your guys in the locker room after, and then you'll be able to celebrate with your family and friends. That moment's probably a little like the thing that really takes the cake for me. But yeah, I'm not trying to downplay winning Super Bowl at all. But yeah, it didn't. I don't know. Only thing that I think so far, like in my life, is like kids. Like when you have your kids. Maybe because when I was a kid, I wasn't dreaming about seeing a baby pop out. So like it probably exceeded expectation there. So, but yeah, I'm not trying to downplay winning a Super Bowl, but yeah.
How would you
When you
describe,
were- when you
how would you
did the-
describe the locker room and, the parade and everything that came out thereafter? Because you tried so hard during the season and during the week to kind of stay even. Did you really allow yourself to enjoy those moments there?
I definitely allowed myself to enjoy the locker room. I think it's all over video. Maybe the parade too. But like I said, those are the moments. Like you have like your key moments, and I don't know the exact dates of the ring ceremony, but I think that's like the last time where like you have like that moment again when you're celebrating being a Super Bowl champion, and then after that you kind of just put it in the past, and next time you really talk about it or super excited about it is when you're retired and you reflect on your career.
There's a moment during, toward the end of the game where we're standing with Jalen, and he said, this is about you, kind of, I'm messing up the words here, but basically saying to you, you did this, you were the one that kind of put this team over the top. What did that mean to you when he said that to you? Have you thought about it all since?
No, I definitely haven't thought about it all since. But yeah, I mean, the type of player Jalen is and the leader he is, hearing those words from him, definitely meant a lot. And not only him, just from a lot of my teammates and coaches, the way that they said I was able to have an impact on this team. But the same way how they feel about me is mutual. The impact all these players and coaches have had on me and my career is something that I wouldn't like. The Super Bowl don't even take the cake for that. Like it's bigger than that. Just as a player, as a man, and my faith. Like there's so many things that this team has helped me out with so much. So yeah, the way he feels, feeling is mutual to not only him but everyone in this building.
You mentioned Marshall a little bit. You mentioned Barry in the past. You obviously are in tune with the history of the game and the history of the position. Have you taken time to reflect on setting that single-season rushing record and what that means to you?
You mean like last year?
Yeah, that total yardage record. Yeah.
Oh, like in the Super Bowl and everything? No, I really haven't took the time yet. I tell my boys and family all the time that I have to pick a day where I allow myself to, embrace everything that happened this year. Don't know when that will be, but it's kind of hard. Like when you're in the flow of things, and I feel like that's something that when the cleats are kind of hung up, that when I'm hopefully teaching SJ how to play football, that I can like, hey, your dad was doing this at one point, but right now, kind of not part of it.
How about the Super Bowl game itself? I'm sure you've watched it. Is there any moment or play or plays that really resonate with you that stand out that you'll remember?
I mean, there's a lot. Coop's pick for sure. That definitely comes to my mind, and then probably Smitty's the dagger, I think they're calling it on social media. that play was pretty dope.
Is there anything that stood out for you yesterday? You received the key to the city proclamation. You had a meet and greet. What stood out for you yesterday in Allentown?
The thing that stood out to me the most is how many people came and showed up and showed support and love, and that's something that I've been feeling from the Lehigh Valley or from my hometown, since I committed Penn State. So hopefully I can continue to represent my area well and continue to make them proud.
What kind of challenges? What kind of challenges do you think you're going to face, next year? Like what people are going to try to do against you and the team?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but you got to adapt, and that's something that I'm willing to do. So wherever I can do to help the team win football games, and every year is different. It might not look the same how it looked this season, but if I'm able to still have an impact and still, help us win football games, that's the only thing that matters. So whether it's running the football, catching, blocking, you just got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to adapt each year, and that's something I look forward to. Thank you guys for coming.
Thanks.